Jason Kirk. I'm the managing director of Kirk and Kirk. My family's been in optics for 100 years. So my grandfather and his brother were really entrepreneurial, and it was after the First World War, and they were looking for a way to make a living. And they found an old sewing machine that had broken down.
Okay.
What can we do with this? And they turned it into a lens cutter. They put a blade on it, and they knew some opticians, so they turned it into a lens cutter and started selling lenses to opticians in London, and it went really, really well. And so they invented, for example, the first adjustable nose pads. Can you imagine, like, glasses without adjustable nose pads? But they invented the first adjustable nose pads. They had invented bulletproof lenses. I mean, they were incredible. And so my dad was an optician. All his brothers and cousins were opticians, and I was not interested at all. So I grew up in an optical background, and I used to go to my dad's practice every weekend from the age of about 4. And it just didn't excite me. It didn't interest me. And I had a job. I was working at L'Oreal doing sales and marketing. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife and who's now our creative director, she was a graphic designer working in London. So I had a week doing this. I sold a load of the original glasses. And I went back to work on the Monday thinking, I really enjoyed that. And I don't really want to be at L'Oreal. And I went into L'Oreal that day, and the very day that I went back, they made me redundant. And they said, we don't need you anymore. Here's a little bit of money. Thank you very much. And I was like, I could not believe it. So Karen and I, from that day, used the little bit of money that we had then. We made some more glasses, and we sold those. And very quickly, we found ourselves developing a business. Largely, it was pretty UK-centric at first, because we're talking about 1992. No internet, no email. It was me walking out on the streets. We thought we were very advanced when you got an electronic typewriter. I mean, it was early days. There's a feeling that you get when you wear the right pair of glasses. There's a confidence, there's an empowerment that you get. But what we couldn't predict was how other people would respond to you when you're wearing the right pair of glasses. And there's a definite kind of shifting gear, perhaps even a power shift, if you like, when you're wearing something that absolutely makes you feel the way that you want to feel. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to feel like you're the boss in a conversation. It doesn't have to change the balance of the conversation. But when you get your glasses right, you're conveying a message about your personality. And when you get it really right, you're considering the environment that you're in, the people that you're sharing that environment with, what you want to achieve on that particular day, at that particular meeting, in that particular party, whatever it is that you want to do. But when you get it really right, you feel it, and other people feel it too. So, yes, sorry, that's a very long answer to a short question, but yes, colour is important, but it's not the only thing. We're wondering how they were made, understand what they were. So we started to explore. And we looked at lots of different materials, and acrylic was one of them. And normally you find acrylic, you might find it in furniture or in decoration or in a photo frame. Now, what we discovered was that acrylic, like so many other materials, is based on a chemical formula, and there are lots of different types of acrylic. So we spent a long time, literally years, developing an acrylic from which you could hand make optical frames the same way, the old-fashioned way, that you make acetate frames. So our acrylic is a sheet, and you cut out frames by hand from a sheet in the same way that you would with acetate. So it's a durable material, but the main benefit of acrylic is that it's incredibly light. So you can take a frame, I'll show you, for example, another frame that we have. If I put this on, so this is a really chunky looking frame. It's got lots of volume. The material, let's do it like that, is 10 millimeters thick. 10 millimeters, okay? But if I put this on, it weighs nothing. It's so light, really, really comfortable, and you can wear it all day. Now, if you do the same thing with an acetate frame, it's beautiful, but it's heavy. And, you know, there's a limit to how long you can wear it and feel comfortable. So the first main benefit of acrylic is that it is incredibly light and comfortable to wear all day. The second benefit is that you get incredible colours.
Amazing. I have seen this on your website. It looks like great.
Thank you.
I think that's the one for which you got some kind of a Silmo award. Was this?
Yeah, we won the Silmo d'Or for this frame. So this frame is called Thor, and the colour is citrus. But all of our frames come in a whole range of colours. So, but this is citrus, and this won the Silmo d'Or last year. So we're very happy about that. What I think is really important is that we create all our own materials. We don't sell. We sell to a select independent group of opticians, and so that allows the optician to differentiate themselves from their competitors, which is really important at the moment. Everybody's got brand names. Everybody's got the same collections. And what does your customer do? Your customer goes, well, okay, well, that's great. So you walk into a shop and you go, oh, there's a such and such a frame. And they go, all right, well, it's this price. I'll go online and I'll have a little look and see if I can find it cheaper. Or I'll see if it's down the road. And inevitably, people find it cheaper. This is a really pivotal time for retailers. Retail is difficult, not just in optics. And you have to build the excitement. You have to give people a reason to choose your store, not other stores. And after they've left, you have to maintain a relationship with them after they've left. And it's not easy. I haven't got all the solutions. But one thing you can do is you can show that you have exceptional products, that you've done the research, you've been around the world going to the trade show, and you've looked for something that you think your customer will care about, and a really easy material to glaze. So you have to make it. You take a heater, a blow heater. You make it very hot, okay. And then see if I'll find a way to show you. So, for example, it's in the blow heater, and you simply, when it gets hot, you just touch it gently like that. Okay. It goes very soft, and when it's soft, you adjust it.
Okay.
You can just move it like there's no resistance at all.
Right.
And then you pop it in cold water, and one of the beauties of acrylic is it keeps its shape. So once you've adjusted it, it fixes its shape and it stays comfortable for the customer forever. So that's really good. That's really easy. It's like any new material. When horn was a new material in optics, people had to learn how to adjust it.
Right.
And in the same way, you cut the lenses a little bit small so they're not putting pressure on the frame.
Okay.
So you just need to. It's 2 minutes learning. I just did the whole training session. But you don't need a wire, because the material keeps its position, and that's why you don't need it.
Okay.
America is a huge part of our business, North America. Okay. We sell in 40 countries.
Okay.
Yeah, we are. There are lots of places where we don't sell. That leaves us space. But we've maintained a consistency in the type of people that we sell to all over the world.
Okay. And I think it's with purpose you have placed the pricing above, I would say, Tom Ford, Gucci and all?
Well, it's a totally different product. So if you look at how the product, I'm not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to criticize any other brand or how it's made, but you get what you pay for. And right. So most of the branded products are made in mass production circumstances. The physicality of the product is of a certain standard. So all the joints, the acetate, how long the acetate is cured for, the styling, the fitting, all of those things contribute to the value of the frame that you're paying for. Now, Kirk, when we make a frame, they're made in one factory in France from start to finish. We can trace every single aspect of that production. All of our materials are made in one factory in Italy. They go to the factory in France. They come out as a frame. We know, for example, if you look at the hardware inside the frame,
okay,
it's proper old-fashioned pinned joints.
Okay,
everything's as much of the process that we can sensibly produce by hand is made by hand, the really old-fashioned way. And we don't do that in a way that is kind of deliberately Luddite, deliberately trying not to move to the future, because there are parts of the process that are improved by technology, but there are still some parts where handwork makes the difference. Yeah, the finishing. So an example would be when we make a frame, we finish the frame individually. Each frame is finished so that it actually matches the very front that it's going on to. So that kind of perfection is what you pay for. Other things like, for example, it took us 5 years to work out how to create the right acrylic, and then to find a factory that could work in acrylic. Because you can't just go to an eyewear factory. I mean, everybody says, why is nobody else doing this? You can't just get any old acrylic, and even when you've got the right acrylic, you can't just go to an eyewear factory because they don't know how to make it. It took our expert factory about 2 years to understand how to hand make a frame using acrylic.
I thought that laws are really strict in Europe and US and all, not like India. So I thought that it's quite difficult for anyone to sell it there.
Well, the laws are strict, but people find their ways around it.
Okay.